Interacting with a toxic family member, spouse, or coworker can be an exhausting, anxiety-producing experience and may motivate you to eventually cut off all contact. In some situations, however, you might not be able to walk away from this person entirely for various reasons. For instance, maybe you're co-parenting with an ex-spouse, or there's some other mitigating circumstance that makes it impossible for you to go no contact. In this kind of situation, the gray rock method may be the most effective solution to help you navigate the rocky and unpredictable terrain of the narcissistic relationship. Basically, by being as unresponsive and uninteresting as a gray rock, the other person becomes so frustrated with their inability to manipulate you or provoke a response that they end up getting bored with you and leaving you for someone else. Gray rock, however, also poses several risks. For instance, how will the narcissist react when you attempt to use gray rock? And what are the long-term effects or impact of using gray rock on your mental and emotional well-being? My name is Bethany, and in today's video, we're going to talk about the pros and cons of using the gray rock method in a narcissistic relationship. But first, what are the typical steps or techniques that are used when going gray rock? Strategy 1, don't reveal your strategy. If you're used to being criticized or humiliated by the other person, knowing you have a special tool in your arsenal to protect yourself can generate a tremendous sense of empowerment. Maybe for the first time ever, you feel like you have control not only over the situation, but your life. You may even feel tempted to tell them that you're using a technique on them, to kind of put them in their place, and let them know that you know a few tricks of your own. But this would be a huge mistake. The purpose or goal of gray rock is to get the other person to lose interest in you on their own. Narcissists aren't known for handling rejection very well, and if you outright admit that you're strategizing or handling them, you risk inciting their rage. At the very least, their efforts to control and manipulate you will increase, and this will only sabotage your progress, not to mention your peace. Strategy 2, keep it brief. If you have no choice but to communicate with the other person, keep your interactions as short as possible. Use brief, one-word responses and be careful not to reveal any more personal information than you may already have. Basically, you cannot afford to forget how little it takes for a narcissist to get their hooks in you and exploit your vulnerabilities. It's human nature to want to share our fears, insecurities, achievements, and celebrations with those we love. We want to be able to trust the other person with this information. Go to them and have them be proud of us or celebrate with us. So when you're using gray rock, you might find that having to withhold or censor yourself to such an extreme degree might be profoundly awkward or even painful for you. As painful as it may be, the narcissist is incapable of demonstrating genuine concern or interest in your life, and is only giving you their undivided attention so they can procure information that they can use against you later. Strategy 3, disengage. Eye contact and being in close physical proximity makes it easier for the narcissist to be manipulative. So if you have to be in their presence, practice distracting yourself with other things or other activities while they talk to you. If you're at work, try shuffling papers or fiddling with office equipment while they tire themselves out. I once had to use this on a toxic coworker, and it worked beautifully. I worked with a woman who was antagonistic and obnoxious, but I steadily gray rocked her for 6 months. I would fill out mindless paperwork while she was chatting with me, adding a nod occasionally. Or acting like I was deeply engrossed in the book that I was reading on my lunch break. Eventually, one day, she stopped and ignored me because I refused to give her the engagement that she craved. But again, this strategy isn't always effective with, say, a family member who knows you really well and may backfire if you're not subtle about it. Strategy 4, stay neutral. By now, it's no surprise that narcissistic and toxic individuals thrive on drama and are masterful at producing drama out of thin air. They're attracted to bright, shiny objects and are basically looking for this equivalent in your emotional cues. Your only recourse is to go gray and give them nothing to work with. If you have to interact with the other person, stay neutral. Use nondescript language. Avoid discussing any emotionally charged subjects, religion, politics, family gossip, and do not react when they try to provoke you. Again, this is understandably a very difficult thing to do when you want to be able to express yourself, but you have to remember that you are not dealing with a reasonable, respectful, or well-adjusted individual. The narcissist's goal is to trip you up, get you ensnared in a debate, or just try to make you feel bad about yourself to offset their own insecurity. Stay gray and stay strong. The Grey Rock Method is a subtle way of establishing boundaries and creating emotional distance, but it also carries potential risks. Risk number 1, it doesn't work. Whether the Grey Rock Method works at all on a particular individual depends largely on the unique makeup and dynamics of the relationship. What may keep a really toxic coworker at bay, for instance, may not register with a highly manipulative parent or sibling who knows you on a very personal level. Knowing your efforts are not really making any difference can be incredibly stressful and depressing. Risk number 2, the abuse gets worse. It's also very possible that the other person catches wind of what you're doing and their behavior escalates. You may even find yourself in a really dangerous position if they up the ante from verbal abuse to physical violence. And in this kind of scenario where you suspect or anticipate that the other person may have a violent side, it would be wise to seek legal protection. Risk number 3, you lose yourself. It's one thing to bide your time with a toxic boss until you get a new job, or use the Grey Rock Method with a really difficult family member that you only have to see on the holidays. It's quite another thing to suppress your thoughts and feelings, to refrain from expressing your opinions over a span of months or even years. Grey Rock requires consistent, sustained effort, and this degree of disconnect may cause you to completely lose touch with who you are, your identity, your values, dreams, beliefs, because you're doing everything in your power to not agitate the narcissist in your life. And for this reason, the Grey Rock Method is not an effective long-term solution. Join me for a future video where we'll go beyond the Grey Rock Method to explore no contact, an alternative path to reclaiming your sanity and self-respect. As always, thank you for watching. I hope you found this content helpful. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button for future videos, and I'll see you next time.